Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is almost time to roll when it comes to Donald Trump taking office and hopefully us having a very impressive bull run. With or without Trump, I think certainly 2025, if you believe in the 4 year cycle, was always going to be the year. But now with Trump, we're hoping it goes basically on steroids. And I'm going to be talking about my official price prediction for potentially the number one meme coin of the cycle, just in terms of overall narrative. It is SPX 6900, with the idea of flipping the stock market, going to 100 billion, 200 billion, whatever you want to predict there. I'll give my prediction. And then I'm going to talk about two other narrative plays based off of SPX 6900 because we look at this coin right now and we see it above 900 million. You could argue, and the video is not financial advice, you got to do whatever is best for the individual, but you could argue any price under a billion would be a good investment for SPX 6900 because right now my prediction, and you can see this coin predicting it is very hard considering the limited price history, which is really what we want. You want to be investing into meme coins where this is their first cycle, and for SPX 6900 it certainly is. I'm not going to be buying this coin mainly because I normally don't buy meme coins when they're already up around 900 million. Now, I understand if people do that. I don't understand if you're buying it if it's at 30 or 40 billion. That's where the stupid retail gets in, and they're the ones that pump it. But in this scenario, I could certainly understand people buying it, even with the idea that there's a lot of people that invested down here. They're already likely multimillionaires, and you're pumping their bags. And to be fair, I was one of the people that invested down here. Unfortunately, I also sold down here. But it's all right. There are other options. I'm going to discuss that later in the video. Let's talk about this coin right now sitting under a billion in terms of market cap. What can it do in terms of an X? I think this coin could 40 or 50X. I would not be surprised if you look at Shiba's high in 2021 at around 45 billion. Doge was around 80 or 90 billion. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Doge shot up to $2, which would be a crazy evaluation. And I would more so compare this coin to Shiba, but now there's more money in circulation. So you could argue that maybe it goes above 45 or 50 billion, which would be beautiful for me because we want a lot of money to flow into this narrative, and maybe other coins within the same narrative, like the beta plays, will also do crazy, maybe even higher X's because they're lower in market cap. I'll discuss that in a second. But when it comes to this coin, you're looking at it. I mean, the chart's amazing, obviously. Actually, the past 7 days, it has been trickling down. We've kind of had a rough week and a half. I thought there were a lot of people that were kind of saying, well, last week was tough. We're going to go up on Monday. And we had a bad Monday here with BTC going down a little bit. And a lot of the alts follow BTC, obviously. The overall total market cap's down 4%. But we're still in a very bullish time. And this coin, I would say 40 to 50 billion. It's hard to give an exact prediction because there's limited price history, but based off of the people shilling it, the idea that it's the number one meme coin of the cycle, it's not going to do the most X's because it's already, I mean, if you bought it when it was 7 or 8 million, which technically back in early September, it was 7 or 8 million. I've got a transaction. Maybe I could show you guys. Maybe I'll find that transaction on Zerion or something. It's a disturbing transaction to look at. It's 246,000 coins traded for $2,100 on like September 6th or something. It's not good. But listen, it really doesn't matter. You don't rest on the problem, you fix it. And that's why you get into other coins in this narrative. It's all right. But this coin, I wouldn't buy it because I don't like pumping other people's bags, even though this coin's gonna, like, if you buy this, I can understand it because it does have the idea of being both safe, because when you're talking about coins, the meme coins at around 1 or 2 million in terms of market cap, or even 10 million, there's a lot more risk with that. This coin, on the other hand, I think it's going to very easily minimum do at least a 10 or a 20x. The problem is you're not going to get a 4 or a 500x out of this coin. It's just not going to happen. There's not enough money flow. I know people say, well, flip the stock market, 500 billion. I think that'd be awesome if it went to 500 billion. It'd be great for me because I know some coins that would also react to this going to, $500 or whatever, and it would be amazing. But it wouldn't surprise me if it did a 30 or 40x minimum. I know this coin is on Kraken. It's not on, I don't think it's on Coinbase. When I look at like the top big players that are going to run to, coins that go to like 10, 20, 30, 40 billion, I would say SPX, I would say MOG, I would say Peanut. I know Peanut, I think, just maybe got listed on Coinbase, or it's already on Coinbase. But those are three of the big players, and this is probably the big dog out of everything. And you're still looking at another 40 or 50x. I would say, again, it's hard to estimate because we don't really have any sort of price history with Doge. You can kind of, based off of the first main cycle for Doge in 2017 and 2021, predict maybe a $2 mark for it. But this one, limited price history, but obviously it laid up to this bull run. It already did whatever, like 100x. I mean, if you really want to see how crazy it was, if you look at like early September, and you go by market cap, what was it at? I think it was at a certain point in September. Yeah, so it was around $7 million trading on September 6th. And at one point it was 1.4 billion. So 7 million to 1.4 billion. It is remarkable. And that's really before the bull market even kicks off. And so this, we're going to see a totally distorted graph from here to where this is probably going to become really small down here. And then this is going to be unrecognizable, although it kind of already is, just based off of how high this coin's going to go. In terms of like 20, 30, 40, 50 billion. But I would say a price range of 40 or 50 billion, which is basically $45 to $55, give or take, because they did burn some. Looks like they burned 70 million of this coin. And then two narrative plays based off of this one, two betas, I guess you could say. The first one is going to be NASDAQ 420. And NASDAQ 420 did have a little bit of a dip the past few days. Not too concerned about it. It's got a really nice chart looking at it, especially compared to some of the other stock to meme coins. Most of them, I'll show the next coin that I show is the chart that most of them kind of have. This one does not have it. This coin is a very, very nice looking chart. It's a continuous upward trend. Right now it's sitting around 9 million in terms of market cap. And to me, this does feel like the ultimate beta to SPX, which would be crazy if they were able to pull that off. You're really just looking at trying to have a 5%, of the market cap that SPX has. If that were to happen right now, this coin I think would have to be at around 50 million in terms of market cap. For it to have 10%, it'd be around 100 million. So it's not there yet, but imagine if SPX goes to like 40 or 50 billion and this coin is at like 7 or 8% in terms of the market cap of it. So it's at 4 or 5 billion. Imagine the X's from here. Right now sitting at 9. I mean, it's just, that's why these coins, it's risky for sure. I know this coin has a really good community. It is more risky than SPX6900 because of the price. There's more volatility with it being lower, but you're going to get a much bigger reward. You could get a potential 6, 7, 800x off of this coin. And maybe you might be saying, well, I'm buying the top at this point, but to me, this is all very, this chart is probably going to look linear in a few months, I would hope, which means if that happens, then the coin's mooned to whatever it ends up going to. Like if SPX makes another big jump to 4 or 5 billion, so it just does a 4 or 5x, how in terms of money flow, organically you're going to see people look to try and play into the same narrative with a coin. And this coin, I think, when you're talking about the stock market, you've got the SPX, S&P 500, you've got NASDAQ, and you've got Dow Jones. Those are the main ones. And you see a NASDAQ 420, it plays off of the same idea as the SPX 6900. So, and also they've got a good community. They've been grinding. They're putting themselves in position to be that number two. I know recently, you've got the MicroStrategy 2100. That's kind of been the number two player. But I just think in terms of like the big dogs within the stock market and then translating that to stock to meme, SPX, NASDAQ, Dow Jones. That's kind of what I think in terms of the big ones. And this coin is just positioning itself very well to have a really good run. And this is the coin I am in. I'm not in the big dog SPX 6900. I have 0 of that. But this coin, I do have some. And then the other one you could look at, and this is kind of like, I guess for those of us that did miss the original SPX, it is SPX 2.0. And I do want to kind of caution people. It has pumped recently. So, certainly that's bullish for a lot of us that bought down here, where it kind of reached an all-time low. But I do want to show this chart. This is a typical chart for the stock to meme coins where, they were really hot right before Thanksgiving. And this coin, in late October, and then they totally tanked. I mean, just for example, what did this coin go to? 7 or 8 million and went all the way down to a floor of about 250K. So that's a brutal drop. And that's why when it comes to entering meme coins that are lower in market cap, it's not an easy thing. It does look like this coin is starting to wake up again. And when it comes to SPX 6900 2.0, originally I just thought it was your typical, based Pepe, like just another variant of it. Like, that's what people do. If a coin's really successful, a meme coin, they just make like 2.0 to try and say, oh, you missed the first one, get in on this one. But there is a story behind this. Like the dev who originally started the SPX 6900, that's at like 930 million right now. he got cut out of the project, he got screwed, and then he started this one up as like a 2.0. So there is some lore involved, but I do think retail might look at this coin, see, and this is kind of how these people think, see that it's lower in terms of price and say, well, I could get a bigger X off of this because the price is lower. Most of them don't even look at market cap, but it'd be the same idea. The market cap is lower, so if I invest in this, I could get a bigger X. And honestly, they are right. I mean, you are going to have people that funnel into like SPX6900 when it's 20 billion, 30 billion. You're just not getting a 30x. It's impossible. But with a coin like this, imagine if the original SPX6900, although you could argue this is the original, but just the one that's at 930 million, imagine that's at 50 billion. What does that do to this coin? Do we really think this coin is, I mean, we don't know. Maybe the coin is a flop and it only goes to 30 or 40 million, and it would be kind of sad. But the hope is that it would reach escape velocity in terms of like at least 250 million, 500 million. The dream would be like a billion, which would be obviously crazy. It's not impossible in crypto, especially during a bull run with so much money in circulation. It's not. So it's just the idea of, well, if SPX 6900 is at whatever it ends up going to, 40, 50, 60 billion, maybe wicking to 70 billion, I think that could spell a very impressive evaluation for this coin, where there might be a bigger X off of this coin where you're getting like 1,000x, as opposed to if you buy SPX right now, the one at 930 million, you might only get like a 40 or a 50x, which is still amazing. And maybe you want that because it's safer than this, because this coin did tank in price. And that's kind of what happens with these coins, these meme coins that are low in market cap. It is what it is. It's important with entries to be very, very careful, certainly, because that entry can, I've entered into coins where they've been at 4 or 5 million, and it's like the next 2 months later, it's at 200K. It's not this coin in specific. I think I timed this coin really good in terms of my entries. Some of that is just luck. I mean, I could have easily, if I would have known about this coin, I might have FOMO'd in right here and been, significantly down. So it just depends on your entry timing. But the idea is hopefully even the people that entered here still get like a 30 or 40x off of it, even if you're entering at 4 or 5 million, because of hopefully how it will perform in the future. So those will be two coins branched off of the original SPX that I think can do very well. Again, it's based off the original. If there's this much money flow into it, people are going to look for other coins. This is just the 2.0. People are going to see this. They're going to see the exact same logo. Some of them might think, oh, it's dumb. Don't buy it. Buy the original. Although you could argue this is the original, but it is 2.0. So some people might not buy it, but I think a lot of retail look at this and be like, oh, it's lower in price. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to, and so they might buy it, and you might get a wick up to a crazy, price if the original is really high. And the same thing with NASDAQ. I think NASDAQ certainly will probably be priced higher than the 2.0 will. I mean, right now it's at 9 million. You would really like to see this take over as the beta. I was hoping NASDAQ would go on a run to like 40 or 50 million and really establish itself as the beta. It hasn't happened yet. But it would be great if it did, because then you just establish it as the number 2 in terms of this narrative. But so overall, when it comes to the original SPX, wouldn't surprise me at all. In terms of price, you're looking at $35, $40, $50, so around a 35, 40, 50x. It wouldn't surprise me. 50 billion. I mean, you look at what Shiba did. This coin, could it flip Shiba? I mean, let me see if I can go to the categories and see where Shiba is at this point. And see. So Doge right now, right around 50 billion in terms of market cap. Shiba's at around 12. I think it could, honestly. I really do. It'll just depend, but you can see SPX sitting right now. It's like the 10th or the 11th highest valued meme, and it wouldn't surprise me if at its height it was number 2, honestly, or number 3. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But if it were to do that, it would probably, but this is just to show you, Shiba right now is maintaining a market cap of 12 billion, and this is an older type meme, at least in terms of the just market in general, based on how young crypto is. It's already been through a cycle. So, and a lot of these coins are down significantly in the last 7 days. It's actually the last hour, it seems like they're starting to rebound a little bit, but there was a narrative that, we were going to rebound today. It just didn't happen. But it is what it is what happens in crypto. But I wouldn't be surprised if SPX turned into the number 2 or number 3 meme coin in terms of overall market cap. It does have that potential. It may not reach it, who knows? But I think MOG SPX, they're going to do very, very well this cycle. They're like the newcomers. I mean, obviously there's these other ones are new as well, but it just feels like these two are going to do extremely, extremely well. Maybe I'm biased because I at one point did own both of them. But I do think they're really good memes and they just fit well. And certainly SPX is the main one I want to do very, very well, even though I don't own it. I want it to do very well. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.